Hello everyone, I'm Giuseppe Nelva from DualShockers.com, and I'm your host for this 9th episode of our WeebCast. As you may know, this is a weekly podcast in which I talk about all things Japanese gaming, anime, manga, and Japanese geek culture in general. Unfortunately, after Emily had to call it quits for now due to family matters, I'm hosting this alone. And I apologize if it isn't as fun as it used to be. I'll try to do my best. But just a week from the beginning of E3, so today we'll be talking about what we can expect to see and what we can just dream about. But before we do that, let's digress a bit about what I've been doing last week. In terms of games, I haven't been playing much Japanese games as usual in the past few weeks, because I've been doing reviews, and you know that you can't always review what you want to review. So I've been playing a lot of Age of Conan for the review because I wanted to see the end game, but I'm close. Sorry, not Age of Conan. That's the old MMORPG. I always confuse it. I meant Conan Exiles by Funcom still. But yeah, that was mostly the big games I played. I also played a bit of Total War Warhammer 2 because they got the new expansion out. But again, nothing Japanese on that front. I've been playing some visual novels again. I've been playing a lot of Schwarzes Marken, actually the second part is Schwarzes Marken, which is, as you may know, the prequel of Mavlov. Basically, it's set in East Germany, and it's really, really good. There is an ongoing discussion about whether Schwarzes Marken is better or not than the original Mavlov, but I think it's kind of like a very different thing. It's a lot darker too, and I like it. I love it, but I'm not making comparison. It's in Japan. It's been released in 2 different parts. Lately, they actually released a bundle with both, but I got them separate because I wanted the collector's editions. So yeah. But in the end, I really, really like it. And the second episode is absolutely fantastic. It's like really a roller coaster. And after that, I've also been playing some more Granblue Fantasy because we are gearing up to the Persona 5 crossover event. And more Mavlov, but Alternative Strike Chronicles, which is the mobile game. Getting more waifus there. And more Final Fantasy XIV, which has just released the new patch, 3.4, I believe. Sorry, 3.4. And it's absolute, 4.3, not 3.4. I'm a little bit out of it. I'm sick. So please forgive me if I say something weird, if my voice sounds wrong. This is like pre-tree crap. Like stress is accumulating, so I'm sick. It's getting hot. So the change in temperature really killed my voice kinda, and I have a bit of a cold as well. So please forgive me if my brain goes on a tangent somewhere. So I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, a new story is fantastic, as usual. Like, the story of that game is honestly one of the best Final Fantasy stories I've seen in a long, long time. Beyond that, that's pretty much it for games. I've been working a bit on some features that will come out this week. I still have a Ghost of Tsushima feature, which is kind of Japanese. It's made by a Western team, Sucker Punch, but it's still set in Japan. So I've been still working on my feature about Tsushima itself. So we'll see about it. Hopefully it will be out before E3. Kind of would make enough sense to get it out after it is it's a speculation piece. So if they will give all kind of information at E3, so would kind of probably spoil it a bit. I will see. In terms of anime, I've been watching quite a lot of the usual, seasonal anime since the season is well underway. I haven't seen anything special by itself outside of the season, so I've been enjoying a ton. The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, that Die Neue These, which I hope I'm pronouncing decently, but I doubt I am, which is still fantastic. It's really great. And I've been going on with, sorry, again, I'm a little sick, with Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory, which is great. Now they're gotten into the heart of things a bit, but I think they're still climbing to a bit more of a climax. The usual romantic ones, so Watakoi, which is really, really, really fantastic. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite romantic anime of all time. But yeah, well, I guess there is a component of the fact that we can all pretty much immerse ourselves in it because it's about otakus. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, Tadakun also is great still. 3D Kanojo is still going pretty good. But yeah, other than that, I really haven't watched. Oh yeah, of course, Megalobox. It's doing absolutely fantastic. I've been trying to get back into Persona 5, but yeah, I can't. As much as I love the game, and probably because I love the game so much, the anime series just doesn't do it for me. This is it for anime as well. I haven't really read any specific manga this week, so that's pretty much it. I've actually delved into reading a big source book about Mavlov in Japanese that they have, and that's great. Yeah, I know. I love Mavlov. You guys know that. So yeah. It's called Mavlov Integral Works, which I got the last time I went to Japan. It's like, I don't know, 400 pages in really, really thick Japanese. So, but it's interesting. It's great about the mecha, mostly about the mechas in the games. So yeah, I've been enjoying that as well. Slowly, because of course I read Japanese really, really slowly. But yeah, besides that, we can delve into this week's main topic, which is E3. So what we can expect and what we can dream about the show that's gonna happen in Los Angeles next week. The celebration is pretty much gonna start on Sunday. But yeah. Of course we have a team there. I won't be there because you guys know that I'm in Europe. So I normally, events wise, I do Gamescom and I do Tokyo Game Show, and I let our American team to deal with E3. But of course I will be at home, like writing all the news and all the stories from the show, and I will of course, since our team that goes to E3, there are many like Japanophiles in them. I will definitely give them questions for any interview we have with Japanese teams, and we have quite a few. So you definitely can look forward to that. There are going to be interesting things at this E3. So let's start with the big three. So Sony is going to have Death Stranding for Japanese games. Definitely, that's the big one. Kojima's new game, and it's going to have a new trailer. Maybe we're going to see the first gameplay. I don't know that yet. But Kojima's been saying that they've been progressing really, really fast with the game. So I personally actually expect like a 2019 release at this point. Maybe late 2019. So who knows, maybe we'll see gameplay at last, because it's been quite a while and it's been teasing a lot with cinematics, even if it's been saying that those cinematics are actually in game, in engine. So, but I actually want to see what the actual gameplay is for that game. So maybe we'll get some. I really don't know, and we don't really have elements to know that. So we're in the dark, and Kojima has always been mysterious. We know that he's been preparing a trailer, but that's pretty much all we know. Maybe we're also gonna see a new actor, because at every major event he has revealed an actor. So maybe it's time for a heroine. I don't know. We'll see. What about Microsoft? Microsoft doesn't have Japanese studios. So, by the way, for Sony, we'll see if there will also see something from Japan studio, since they have been, of course, working on things. So it's possible that we'll see something new. Microsoft, they don't have Japanese games, but the Japanese studios, but, Phil Spencer has promised that they're going to have JRPGs on stage. So we'll see if they have something. They probably have it, because I doubt it's not going to keep the promise. I actually expect to see Code Vein, on stage. The Microsoft, since it wasn't on stage last year as well. And, this year we're probably going to have already a release date, if we're not going to have it this week that's we are in now, for the West, we may have one, at E3. So that could appear on Microsoft's stage. But we'll have to see what they bring, because of course, it's gonna be third party. So it could really, literally be anything and everything. Then, we'll see, for Nintendo, of course, they're gonna have a lot of Nintendo games. So they definitely, we know they're gonna have Smash Bros. Maybe they're gonna show more of Pokemon. Maybe they're finally gonna show something on Metroid Prime 4. Still, they shown a logo. So hopefully we'll get a little more than a logo. I'm hoping that. Then, maybe we're gonna see the first look at the new Fire Emblem for Switch. I really have no idea on that front. But hopefully we will see something. I also expect to see, maybe at Nintendo's conference, at Nintendo's live stream, something from Atlus, probably Shin Megami Tensei V or 5. I'm not sure if you say V or 5. Probably 5. Shin Megami Tensei 5, which we have seen very little so far. But I'm really interested in seeing more of that, because it seemed to be a very, close rendition of modern Tokyo, and you know how much I love Tokyo. So they actually have Shinagawa Station in the trailer, which is one of my favorite stations in Tokyo. It's awesome, and I wonder if it's going to play a relevant role like Shibuya Station does in Persona 5. So that's gonna be interesting, definitely. Also, I'm hoping we'll see Shadow Die Twice, or what was codenamed kinda Shadow Die Twice. Actually, I don't even think that was the name of the game, by From Software, of course. I don't even think that was the name of the game. It was just the motto at the end of the trailer. I do think personally that it's a Tenchu game. Whether it's a Tenchu game like Tenchu, the new Tenchu, or a spiritual successor to the series, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that what the imagery on the teaser we have seen at the Games Awards was about. So we'll have to see about that, but I'm pretty confident that it's a Tenchu or Tenchu-like ninja game. But yeah, that's on the From Software front. I doubt they're ready to announce anything else. Definitely they're not going to have any other Souls-like stuff. Maybe they've been like teasing a new Armor Core, but I think that's more of a Tokyo Game Show announcement than a E3 announcement. Of course, everything can happen, because E3 is becoming more and more active on the Japanese front. More and more Japanese developers announced their stuff at E3, stuff that before it was announced more towards Tokyo Game Show. So everything really can happen. On the Capcom front, there are big expectations for a new Devil May Cry, and I do expect it soon that finally we'll see something about it. It's been rumored forever, and I actually think that they may have delayed their announcement for some reason, that maybe they were expecting to announce it for last year, and it's like slipped to this year, but I do think it's gonna finally happen. Of course, I have no insider information, so keep in mind that this is just my feeling from an observer of the industry, not someone that has inside connection. Even if I had inside connections, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So in the end, whatever I actually know, I won't tell you, because I, of course, don't want to betray the trust of people. So anything that I tell you in this podcast is something that I'm speculating about. Whatever I actually know, if I know something, because I'm not confirming that I know anything, I'm not gonna tell you. So it's not gonna appear at all in this podcast. So more for Capcom. What could you see? There is a rumor of a fighting game from Capcom. since there was in the listing in the E3 page. And I don't know for sure what it could be, but there have been several developers in the past at Capcom that have kind of mentioned that they would like to make a new Rival Schools game, which is a Shiritsu Justice Gakuen for those that are familiar with the Japanese title, which was a really, really, really good fighting game, fighting series, because it had two on the PlayStation and on the Dreamcast. And it had this idea that basically you built up your fighter to a kind of dating simulator visual novel-ish set in a school, and that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, in the Western releases of the games, that was removed because it was still the time in which companies did not want to spend much in localization. So they just ripped out like everything from the story in order to just keep the localization to a minimum. That's what happened to Ace Combat 3 as well. So that's something that I've been always sad about. I played the Japanese version, of course. At that time, my Japanese wasn't very good, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I could. So if they do make a new Rival Schools, which I'm not sure about, but I would hope to, this falls into my dreams. I would hope that this time we actually get the full version with the full building of your character. There have been some stray voices about Onimusha. They've always been this dream of Capcom bringing back the Onimusha franchise. I would love it, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to like to hold my breath on it. Definitely, it would be good. It would be good. Also, it would be good if they brought back Dragon Dogma. It's about time to see a new Dragon Dogma game. People they've been mentioning in their financials that Dragon Dogma is one of the most prized franchises. So it's time to expand it a little bit, Capcom, don't you think? Then there has been this thing that they renewed the trademark for Deep Down. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm always going to have a little bit of hope to see that again because I really loved it. I played it at Tokyo Game Show 2013, and it was fun. What I played was interesting. It was a little clunky for something that it was a very early demo, but it was interesting, and I really would like to see it back. But there have been voices that is being shut down. There have been voices that is not. So yeah, we'll see. It's been 3 years since the last time we officially heard about it. And I'm pretty sure that at the very least I'm pretty sure, speculating of course again, I think they scrapped the engine at least. Because we haven't seen much from the engine at all. And it's been 3 years, and the engine was supposed to be their main PS4 and Xbox One engine, but they went with the Resident Evil engine instead. So I wouldn't mind if they change it to a Resident Evil engine. I'm actually pretty anxious to see what next they will do with it. And I think there have been rumors about Resident Evil 2 remake reveal as well from Capcom. So we'll have to see about that. Then, from Namco, Bandai Namco, I'm actually not sure what we'll see from Bandai Namco. I think, of course, we'll see more Soul Calibur 6. Because we haven't seen the full cast yet, and we'll probably have a reveal for 1 or 2 new characters. Maybe we're gonna see some more One Piece World Seeker. Since they did release a trailer for Japan, and maybe we're gonna see more characters and more of the environment because it looks like an interesting game. There is a bit of a disconnect still from between characters and environment, I feel, but we'll see if it evolves in a way that's interesting or not. What I definitely hope to see is more Ace Combat 7 because Bandai Namco has been really silent about it, and I want to play it. Like, you know, I'm a massive Ace Combat fan, and Ace Combat 7 looks fantastic so far. It looks like a return to form, to the story that we had in Ace Combat 5 and Ace Combat 4. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. We'll see about that. I'm also interested in seeing finally if we'll see something from the new engine effort they've been doing, because I don't know if you remember, but Bandai Namco hired Julien Merceron, which is the person that basically built up the Fox engine for Konami. And he was going to work on new technology for Bandai Namco. And since Bandai Namco has been a bit behind in some of its technological efforts, unless for the game that did not use Unreal Engine 4, especially for the anime games, they're really a bit slow. So I wonder if they're making an effort for maybe a new cel-shaded engine or something that's a little bit more technologically advanced for its main games. We'll see about that. Then, of course, there is a big thing, which is Square Enix has its own presentation. So they're probably going to have a lot of games in store in that presentation. Definitely we're going to see more Kingdom Hearts since it's going to be playable at the show. I expect to hear a release date at last. It was teased that the release date may or may not come before E3. I'm not sure if it was teased or not. I think actually Nomura-san said that during an event, but we'll see if we hear the release date before E3 or at E3, but I don't think there isn't many other chances for an official release date announcement than E3 or just before. Could be at D23 in California, but I'm not sure. I don't think they're gonna wait that long. It's about time. It's gonna be a 2018 title unless they delay it again, but I don't think they will. Personally, I'm pretty confident that they will release the game in 2018. So it's about time even to get pre-orders going and all that. It's about time that we hear a release date. I expect to see more the Final Fantasy VII remake, because it's about time that we see more about that. They've been talking a lot about hiring people, recruiting people. Now they say that they are in full production. We don't know how long they have been in full production, but I'm pretty confident it's gonna, at least the first chapter, I'm pretty confident it's gonna be a 2019 title. So I definitely expect it to come, at least to get a good glimpse on it during this event. And since they moved the development away from CyberConnect 2, I wonder how much and if it changed visually. We've seen a very small look at the game lately. It was like just a small off-screen picture on a recruitment site, and it did not seem too different from what we saw. But we actually don't know how far back that picture was taken, so it's really impossible to gauge, like certain things say in Final Fantasy XI. Actually, one thing that's funny, that's interesting for Final Fantasy, I wonder if for Square Enix, I wonder if Square Enix is ready to at least hint about its next MMORPG effort, because Dragon Quest X and they didn't even came to the West, and Final Fantasy XIV are several years old now. I don't know if they're ready to talk about what's coming next. I'm pretty sure that both of those will continue for a long time, especially Final Fantasy XIV. But, I mean, MMORPGs have been a big money maker for Square Enix lately. After the hiccup with the original Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually made an effort to create a new one. Maybe a science fiction one. Maybe, I don't know, based on the Front Mission franchise or the Star Ocean franchise. Star Ocean franchise was very good for MMORPG. Or, I don't know, maybe even a Kingdom Hearts MMORPG. We wouldn't buy that. I mean, they're now really just fantasizing, but I think Square Enix is kind of ready to expand is MMORPG operation, because they're making them a lot of money. So when you're winning, you keep doing it. We'll see about that. I'm not sure. Well, definitely one thing that I definitely expect to see is Left Alive. from the Front Mission developer. And from with the character design of Koji Shinkawa, which is for the Metal Gear franchise. So that's definitely something that I expect to see. Which is exciting because I really loved what I saw so far, but I want to see more. I want to see more actual gameplay, and I want a release date because they actually say it was a 2018 game. So if there is not going to be a release date now, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna wait until TGS since they announced it at TGS. I am not sure. I think we are times are mature unless they are delaying it to 2019. We'll have to see. It's really nothing that I can predict at this stage. Again, maybe we're gonna see something more from Tokyo RPG Factory, since their previous games have been mildly successful, I guess. So I think they're gonna continue on that sort. And we'll see if they're gonna have some more remakes as well, because, they had Secret of Mana. So they may have something else, in store. They have their own event, so they probably have a lot in store. Of course, they're gonna have some from their Western studios as well. They're gonna show, Shadow the Tomb Raider. They're gonna show maybe a glimpse into the Avenger game. I will see. Of course, this is a Japanese style webcast, so I'm not going to go too much into the Western stuff. Then, who else? There is Koei Tecmo. Koei Tecmo is probably gonna show Warriors Orochi 4 because that's their big game. That it's gonna come. I don't know if they are, but that's probable. I mean, they already announced that they are pushing a Western release this year, so I don't think they're gonna wait more to show more of it. We do know that gameplay is gonna come this week in Japan. So if they're gonna show the Japanese debut of gameplay this week, probably gonna show the Western debut of gameplay in E3 as well, unless they do it as before, but I do think they're gonna have something there. I don't know if they're gonna show anything else, if they're gonna have they could do, they have a lot of franchises that they have been not been talking about, like, I don't know, Ninja Gaiden, for instance. But, Ninja Gaiden has always been a dream to see it come back. And, I don't know if you remember, when they announced Warriors All Stars at Tokyo Game Show, 2 years ago. I was such a troll. I started with Ninja Gaiden, and I was literally already writing. I was sitting at the Sony's conference in Tokyo, with my laptop on my lap, and I was literally writing. Koei Tecmo announces the new Ninja Gaiden, and then I saw it was not Ninja Gaiden. I was like, oh crap. What the hell is this? But yeah, we'll see. I always hope, but, I don't know. I don't know what Steam Ninja's been working on. I would love to see a sequel for Nihon as well. But I also think that's possibly, if they have gonna do it, I think that's also more of a Tokyo Game Show, announcement than an E3 announcement. I will see. I can always be, surprised on that. Atlas is probably gonna show at last a little bit more of 13 Sentinels by Vanillaware. I definitely would like to see that. And I wonder if they're gonna announce, the Persona 5 and 3 dancing games for the West. That would be nice. Because we haven't heard anything about it. Not a single pip. And that's kinda sad. I definitely would hope that we're gonna get a release date for Valkyria Chronicles 4 in the West. Since for now we only have a fall release, and we knew nothing about when in the fall that's gonna come. I really hope that they're not gonna release it in a period that's like too crowded, because I want the series to be successful, and I want it to be killed by the million of Call of Duties and Battlefields and whatnot that are gonna come this fall. We'll see about that. What was missing? I wonder if we're gonna see a little bit more of Cygames Grand Blue Fantasy Project Relink. I see that as a bit more of a Japanese thing to announce, like a little bit more Tokyo Game Show-ish. But I know they're gonna be with Grand Blue Fantasy as a franchise at Anime Expo, which is like right after E3. So maybe they're ready to show something more. People have been super enthusiastic about the gameplay they've been showing. They've shown around Christmas. And honestly, I understand that because I'm a big Grand Blue Fantasy fan, and the gameplay was fantastic. And it's Platinum game. So, what else would we need? Platinum Games plus a great franchise like that. What else really doesn't need anything else? Also, by the way, speaking of Platinum Games, maybe we're gonna finally see a little bit more Bayonetta 3. That falls a bit into the Nintendo part, I guess, which I forgot before. But I would like to see that. And also, Platinum Games have been talking about a super top secret project. So maybe we're gonna hear more about that. I don't know if they're ready to talk about it, but they've been teasing a lot about a Switch port to the Wonderful 1-1. So maybe we are going to hear that in the Nintendo presentation. So yeah, we're gonna see. Other than that, mostly it's like smaller developers. They're probably gonna have a bunch of smaller things. But this is pretty much the gist of the big things that I expect for Japanese games. Then we're gonna ramp up to Tokyo Game Show, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be ready to show you all the things when that happens. Of course, there are gonna be more games come as well in August. So, there's going to be fun stuff. It's gonna be a fun summer, definitely. I expect a lot of interesting things. I expect ramp up to, Kingdom Hearts 3 in this fall. And we'll see if there is gonna be more interesting things that are announced or re-revealed at E3. There isn't much else I can talk about at the moment. That's just, remember, this is all my speculation, all my dreams. So there is nothing really insider-ish in here. Don't expect anything to come true for sure. I don't have any confirmation for you of any of this. Unless I actually told you that it was already announced or teased that it's gonna come. So keep that in mind. If nothing of this comes true, don't hate me too much. Don't spam too many dislikes on the video on YouTube, because we're just born, so don't kill us off as a podcast. So let's move on to the news for last week, because there was quite a few. So I'm not going to talk about everything. We're going to go for like 2 hours. But being a pre-E3 weeks, there is obviously a lot of things. So Grand Blue Fantasy is going to have the Persona 5 crossover event in June 18th. So that's definitely interesting. It's gonna probably have an SSR character as a Joker, but they're gonna have more characters from the series appearing. I don't know if they're gonna be actually playable characters or not, but it's gonna be interesting. Again, we talked about Deep Down is gonna have as its trademark extended. That happened yesterday. But we'll see if that means anything. The extension, the request for an extension of a trademark is a sworn statement that you actually intend to use that trademark in the United States. So theoretically is legally binding. That said, we don't really know what's happening with that game. So Star Ocean Anamnesis is finally getting a Western release in July, I believe. So that's a gacha Star Ocean themed mobile game with really good graphics for mobile and some interesting real-time action JRPG mechanics. It's actually one of the best mobile games I've seen in a while, mechanics-wise. I was actually wondering if it would ever come west, and it is. So you can, of course, get all the cards from the old Star Ocean games and some crossovers via gacha, and then you make them fight in missions, like your usual gacha games. The factor that set it apart is the graphics are really, really good and the action gameplay. Fighting X-Layer by Arika, which, if you don't know about them, are the team behind the Street Fighter EX series. It's got a release date, and it's gonna come on June 28th, exclusively for PS4. It's gonna have 12 characters plus one if you get the bigger edition. It costs like $49.99, I believe. Otherwise, there is the $59.99. Or there is the $39.99 edition. There's less stuff, but it's the base game basically. That's a promising game. From a team that's very small, so I encourage you to support them if you can and if you like fighting games, because literally from what they say, they kind of bet everything on this release, and I would really be sad if it didn't go well, at least well enough to keep them going. Then a freezing mobile game is launching in Japan this summer. Freezing is a manga series by Korean actors, but it's actually a manga, not a manhwa, and because it's made for Japan. And it's a very good story, full of fan service, of course, and so it's an gacha game. It's been out in Korea for a couple of years, I believe, but a Japanese release is possibly making it a little bit more accessible to the Western audience, even if it's, of course, going to still be in Japanese. Then God Eater 3 revealed a new heroine named Claire Victorious, and she looks cute. Usual typical waifu that you can expect from God Eater, and we'll have to see how she looks. Maybe we're gonna see a new trailer, the 3 as well, maybe with the animated look at her, since we only seen screenshots so far, so we don't know exactly how she will act and everything. The description says she is kind of a honor student like attitude, so she's very serious. And we'll see. Then a new Soul Calibur 6 card has been released, Maxi. So there's nunchaku, and it's very flashy moves, very fluid, probably button spamming as he's always been. We'll see about that. Again, as I mentioned before, Code Vein is getting a release date on June 5th, for Japan. And we don't know if it's going to be a worldwide thing. We only know that it's going to, and for sure for Japan, on June 5th, which means that it's tomorrow when you're gonna hear the podcast. Since this is being recorded as usual on Sunday, it's gonna come out on Monday, on June 4th. We'll see if it's gonna be a worldwide release date. Bandai Namco has been very good at putting its release dates very close between Japan and the West lately. Normally it's one day later in the West, so it's very good. This is a very good standard they are setting. Then, Disaster Rapid 4, by Granzella, finally came out again with some new assets. Looks like it's progressing, and they still have a 2018 Japanese release. They don't have anything anymore, any release date so far, but it's gonna be interesting to see when they release. We'll see what happens about that. But we saw some screenshots and it's pretty good. So it's gonna be interesting to see if we see more. Besides that, I think we want a release date definitely at E3. We may hear something about release date at Tokyo Game Show, but not at E3. The new Monster Hunter, there's been a new Monster Hunter World update that added Lunastra, the Elder Dragon, and that was really interesting, and I think it's a good fight, so I heard a very good thing. I haven't had time to play it just yet, but I will next week probably. Actually in 2 weeks after E3, when things calm down. Like my time is shrinks when E3 is closed. But I'm definitely leaving it for later, for when things calm down a little bit between E3 and Gamescom. Other than that, Mavlava and Mavlava Alternative, we published the first PS Vita gameplay. I believe only PS Vita gameplay so far. But it's gonna come out on June 12th in North America, and I believe June 8th in Europe. So the PS Vita version. If you don't have played Mavlava and Mavlava Alternative, you should really play them if you like visual novels. If you don't have trouble crying in public, because portables, if you play especially the Move Love Alternative in public, you're gonna cry. So if you think it's a problem to cry in public, maybe you should buy the PC version. Then, last but not least, Square Enix released Valkyrie Profile Lennet, on iOS and Android in the West. It has some microtransactions, but they are completely optional. It's just the boosters to make you progress faster. But other than that, it's a buy-to-play game. I believe it's a little pricey. I believe it's like $15 and the equivalent of 17 to 19 bucks in Europe, something like that. But it's a full game. You get everything that the original, it's a port of the PSP version, so that's a pretty good one. It's not really a remake or remaster or anything. I would like to see an actual remake or remaster of Valkyrie Profile or a new game, but I'm not holding my breath for E3. If it happens, I would love it, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe we'll hear about Final Fantasy XVI, who knows? I doubt it. Don't hold your breath about that. That's probably a long way off. Other than that, that's it for this week. So as usual, sorry for my voice being a little coarse this week because I'm sick. But other than that, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your support. If you liked and enjoyed this podcast, please leave a like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, or to the podcast, platform you prefer. We are on a few. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. But please, if you have comments, if you have advice, if you have requests for, the next episodes, please leave them in the comments, because I've been doing this for like 9 episodes, but we just started. So we definitely would like to improve and would like to hear your feedback. Just a PSA, a little service announcement. We're not gonna have an episode next week because it's gonna be E3, so it's gonna be massive chaos. And we're gonna have a E3 recap in which I will talk about all the news at E3 the week after E3. So it's going to be interesting to talk about everything that's been revealed, and see how much I was right and how wrong I was for other things, if there have been some massive surprises or some disappointing because some things have not been revealed or shown at all. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the podcast. Bye bye.